Okay, so if you've ever felt like, I don't know, you're just drowning in information, or maybe your focus is shot, just constantly fragmented,
Mhm.
or you just feel like you can't learn fast enough for, well, everything the world throws at you,
Yeah.
then this deep dive is definitely for you.
Yeah, we're essentially pulling out the core framework. You could call it a strategic roadmap, maybe, for really accelerating your learning and honestly unlocking some serious potential.
And we're diving into the methods of brain coach Jim Kwik, celebrated methods.
Exactly. And we really have to start with his origin story.
Oh, definitely. It's so central to his whole philosophy, isn't it?
It really is.
Because you, the listener, need to know this.
hmm
He didn't start out as some kind of genius. Not at all.
No, he actually had a pretty traumatic childhood head injury, left him with severe learning difficulties.
And a teacher, incredibly, labeled him the boy with the broken brain.
Wow. Yeah, and that label, while it stuck, it really impacted his early life. Constant struggles with focus, memory, just understanding things.
But that struggle, that difficulty, it led him somewhere unexpected.
Right, to this transformative discovery.
Mhm.
The brain isn't fixed. Our learning abilities, they're malleable, they can change.
Which has to be the most crucial takeaway, right? I mean, someone who was literally told his brain was broken could transform his own abilities.
And absolutely everyone has that power. The power to learn faster, remember more, perform better. It's within reach.
So that's our mission today, really,
Yeah.
to distill his system down to its essence, the limitless model.
That's it. And this model, it stands on three pillars, the three M's, he calls them: mindset, motivation, and method.
Okay, let's unpack those, see how they fit together.
Sure.
All right, first M, mindset, the what. And this is foundational because, look, if you have the wrong assumptions about what you're capable of,
Yeah.
then no technique, no method in the world is going to stick.
Absolutely. Mindset is basically that collection of beliefs, attitudes, assumptions you hold deep down about yourself, about your potential.
And the biggest barrier Kwik points to here are, well, he has an acronym for them, LIEs.
LIEs. Limited ideas entertained. He's really clear. These aren't facts. They're just illusions. Opinions, really, that we treat as truth and they just restrict us.
You know, that instantly makes me think of that old story, the one about the baby elephant.
Oh, yeah. Chained to the stake.
Exactly. When it's small, the stake holds it. But then it grows into this huge, powerful adult that could easily pull it out, but it never even tries.
Because it learned it couldn't. That's learned helplessness. Driven entirely by a belief that just isn't true anymore.
And those LIEs, they become self-fulfilling, don't they?
Totally. So the big question is, how do you actually change them? Kwik offers a really clear three-step process. First step, name your limiting beliefs. You have to identify them. And crucially, see them as opinions, not absolute truths.
That first step sounds simple, but I think that's actually really hard. To look at something you've maybe believed your whole life and just go, oh, that's just an opinion I picked up somewhere.
It is hard, which is why step two is so vital. Get to the facts. You have to actively look for the evidence against that belief. Find counterexamples in your own life or others. Basically, you cross-examine your own negative assumption.
Okay, so you identify the lie, you challenge it with facts. What's next?
Then step three, create a new belief. You consciously formulate an empowering alternative, one that's actually grounded in reality, supported by the facts you just gathered, and, helps you move toward your goals.
And this isn't just positive thinking, is it?
Right.
There's actual brain science behind this.
Oh, absolutely. It connects directly to the physical brain. I mean, think about it. Your brain is generating, 70,000 thoughts a day? Its storage capacity is essentially infinite. It really is the ultimate superpower.
And the crucial part is we're not stuck with the brain we were born with.
Not at all. That's the power of neuroplasticity. That old idea that your brain stops developing in your 20s, completely debunked.
Right.
The brain literally changes. It reorganizes itself throughout your entire life based on what you learn, what you experience.
So your capacity to learn to grow,
Yeah.
it's not fixed. It's dynamic. And that London taxi driver example is just, wow.
It's classic, isn't it? So in London, the cabbies have to memorize this insanely complex map of streets. It's called the knowledge.
Right.
And studies showed that doing this intensive learning physically changed their brains. Their hippocampi, the part crucial for spatial memory, actually got measurably larger.
So your brain adapts to the demands you place on it.
Precisely. Which leads to the question, if our brains are so amazing, so adaptable, why do so many of us feel like we're struggling cognitively today?
And Kwik argues it's because the modern world, especially our digital lives, has introduced these.
Hmm.
4 digital villains, things actively undermining our brain power.
Okay, villain number one, the digital deluge. Just the sheer volume of information hitting us constantly. We're apparently consuming something like 3 times the data people did back in the 1960s. And this fire hose of info leads to mental fatigue, poor memory, because our brains rarely get the downtime needed to process and consolidate.
Makes sense. Then there's the one we all feel, digital distraction.
Constant pings, notifications, alerts. Our ability to focus just gets shattered. Deep work becomes almost impossible. Our attention spans feel fractured.
And the third one? This one feels a bit scary, digital dementia.
It does sound scary. It's about over-relying on technology for basic memory functions. Like if you instantly Google every single fact.
You're outsourcing your memory.
Exactly. You stop the brain from doing the work of encoding that information into long-term memory, so your own cognitive abilities can actually diminish.
And the last one, digital deduction. I feel this one. It's so easy to just find ready-made opinions online instead of thinking things through yourself.
That's the fourth villain, digital deduction. Hindered critical thinking. When you have instant access to countless opinions, you exercise your own reasoning skills less. You become less capable of tackling complex problems independently.
Okay, so knowing about these villains, understanding how they work against our natural neuroplasticity, that's the first step.
It is, and that awareness fuels the fight, which brings us neatly to the engine behind it all, motivation.
Right, so we've got the mindset sorted. We know we can change. Now, the second M, motivation, the WHY. This isn't about hype or temporary inspiration, is it?
No, Kwik's focused on sustainable drive, and he gives us a formula for it. Motivation, purpose X energy XE. Small, simple steps, S3. It's multiplicative, meaning if any one of those is 0, the whole thing collapses.
Okay, purpose first. That's the direction, the core reason why you're doing something.
Right, and he makes an interesting distinction between purpose and passion. Passion is what brings you joy, what lights you up. Purpose is often about sharing that passion or using it in service of something bigger than yourself.
But what if you're listening and thinking, okay, great, but I don't really know my purpose. That feels like a big ask.
It can feel big, yeah.
Yeah.
But Kwik connects it back to something more fundamental, identity. He argues your purpose is deeply tied to who you believe you are. He has this powerful line, whatever you put after those 2 words, I am, determines your destiny.
So if you define yourself as, say, a lifelong learner or someone who helps others,
Then your actions, your motivation will tend to align with that identity. It gives your goals real meaning.
which is why he talks about setting not just SMART goals, specific measurables, etc., but also heart goals.
Yeah, heart goals. Healthy, enduring, alluring, relevant, and truth, making them deeply personal, connected to your values and that core identity.
Okay, so purpose is vital, but the formula says purpose times energy.
Exactly. A powerful why is useless if you're physically or mentally drained. Motivation needs fuel. If you're exhausted, that motivation formula just crashes.
So how do we generate that limitless brain energy Kwik talks about? He has practical tips, right?
Oh yeah, very practical. First up, brain diet. Prioritizing high-quality foods, he mentions things like avocados, blueberries, salmon, good fats, antioxidants, and crucially, avoiding refined sugars and processed junk that cause energy slumps and brain fog.
Makes sense. Then exercise.
Non-negotiable. Regular aerobic activity isn't just for your body. Studies show it literally boosts brain size, improves cognitive function, gets blood flowing up there.
And the big one, sleep.
Absolutely critical. Quality sleep isn't a luxury. It's when your brain does its housekeeping, clearing out metabolic waste, consolidating memories. Skimp on sleep, and everything suffers.
And there's a mental energy component too, right? Killing ANTs.
Yes. Combating ANT's automatic negative thoughts. This ties right back into mindset.
Okay.
It's about catching that negative self-talk, those doubts that pop up automatically.
Yeah.
You have to apply those mindset steps, name the lie, get the facts, create a new belief before those ANTs drain your mental energy and sabotage your motivation.
Right. Purpose, energy. Now the final multiplier. Small, simple steps. S3.
This is the bridge. The thing that takes you from knowing why you should do something and having the energy for it to actually doing it consistently.
And it tackles procrastination head on using something called the Zeigarnik effect.
Yeah, the Zeigarnik effect is basically that feeling of mental tension you get from unfinished tasks. It hangs over you, makes you want to avoid the task altogether. That's procrastination kicking in.
So S3 is the antidote.
Exactly. It forces you to break the task down, not just into manageable steps, but into the absolute tiniest action you can take, ridiculously small.
So instead of thinking, I need to write that report, The first step might be open the document.
Or even just find the document. Seriously, that small. That tiny win overcomes inertia. It builds momentum. It's about incremental, consistent progress, not huge, overwhelming bursts of effort that you can't sustain.
Okay, mindset, motivation. That leads us to the final piece.
The third M methods. The how-to-W. This is the practical toolkit, the specific processes you use to actually learn effectively and get things done.
And it's about moving beyond just, rote memorization like we did in school.
Way beyond. It's about meta-learning, learning how to learn. Kwik focuses on key areas here. Focus, achieving flow, improving memory, speed reading, and better thinking.
Let's start with focus. Seems like the cornerstone in our distracted world.
It really is. Kwik defines concentration simply as a muscle. And like any muscle, if you don't train it, it gets weak. It atrophies.
So how do we train it? Any specific techniques?
One really practical one he recommends for calming an anxious or overwhelmed mind quickly is the 4-7-8 breathing technique.
Okay, how does that work?
Simple. You breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold the breath gently for 7 seconds, and then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth for 8 seconds.
4 inhale, 7 hold, 8 exhale.
That's it. Repeating that just a few times directly stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system. It physically calms the brain, making it easier to direct your attention where you want it.
Okay, that sounds doable. And once you have that basic focus, the goal is often to reach that state of flow, right? That deep work zone.
Exactly. Flow is that magic state. Complete immersion, energized focus, time seems to disappear, productivity just soars. It feels almost effortless when you're in it.
How do we get there more often?
Well, first, you have to be ruthless about eliminating distractions. Phones off, notifications silenced. He also recommends scheduling dedicated blocks of time, say, at least 90 minutes for focused work. And making sure the task is slightly challenging, but not so hard it's overwhelming. Finding that sweet spot.
Right. Okay, focus and flow.
Yeah.
What about memory? Lots of people feel like their memory is failing them.
Yeah, and Kwik uses a simple framework here too. MOM stands for motivation, observation, and methods.
Motivation and observation. We've touched on those. You need a reason to remember, motivation.
Yeah.
And you actually have to pay attention, observation.
Precisely. If you weren't paying attention, you didn't forget it. You just never encoded it in the first place.
Right.
But the M for methods is where the specific techniques come in.
All right, let's get into those. This feels like where the real how-to is.
Definitely. The core idea is transforming boring, abstract information into something vivid and memorable. Key techniques involve visualization, turning words into mental pictures. Our brains are wired for images. Emotion is another big one. Information combined with feeling, curiosity, surprise, amusement is much more likely to become a long-term memory.
And association, linking new information to things you already know.
Yes. And the Baker paradox illustrates this perfectly.
Yeah, I love this one. Explain it.
Okay, so if I tell you about two people, and one is named Mr. Baker, and the other one is a baker by trade, which piece of information are you more likely to remember later?
Probably the second person is a baker. The occupation.
Exactly. Why? Because the name baker is abstract. But the occupation baker instantly connects to a whole network of existing knowledge in your brain. Smells, images, bread, ovens, white hats.
Right. It has meaning, context.
It has hooks. Memory works by association. You link the new thing to the old things. And then there's location.
The memory palace technique.
Yeah, the ancient method of loci.
Yeah.
You mentally place pieces of information you want to remember in specific locations within a familiar place, like rooms in your house. Then you just mentally walk through the house to recall the information in order.
Allows you to do things like give a whole presentation without notes. Powerful stuff.
Very powerful. Okay, moving from storing information to taking it in. Speed reading.
This one gets a bad rap sometimes, doesn't it? People think faster means less comprehension.
Kwik argues that's often a myth. In fact, reading faster can sometimes improve comprehension because it forces your brain to stay focused. Less time for your mind to wander off.
And since leaders are readers, as he says, being able to process text efficiently is huge, especially with that digital deluge. What's the key technique?
The simplest, most effective technique is using a visual pacer. Your finger, a pen, even the mouse cursor on a screen. You guide your eyes across the line of text with it.
How does that help?
It primarily works by reducing regression. That's the unconscious habit most people have of letting their eyes jump back and reread words or phrases they just read.
Ah, okay.
That slows you down dramatically and breaks your focus. The pacer forces your eyes to move forward smoothly, maintaining concentration and increasing speed.
Simple, but makes sense. Okay, last method area, thinking. How to actually use all this knowledge effectively.
Right. Kwik emphasizes the importance of looking at problems from multiple angles. He introduces Dr. Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats as a great framework for this.
6 hats.
Mm.
How does that work?
Instead of just reacting to a problem or idea based on your default thinking style, you intentionally put on different hats, each representing a specific mode of thinking.
Like,
Okay, so the white hat is purely for objective facts and data, no opinions allowed. The green hat is for creativity, brainstorming, new possibilities. The black hat is the critical judge looking for risks, potential problems, what could go wrong.
and there are others for emotions, process, benefits.
Exactly. By systematically considering the issue from all these different perspectives, you get a much more comprehensive, well-rounded analysis. It helps you avoid narrow thinking and that digital deduction problem we talked about earlier.
Wow. Mindset motivation methods. That is a seriously comprehensive toolkit we've just unpacked.
It really is. It covers the internal beliefs, the driving force, and the practical skills.
So let's bring it all together for you, the listener. Becoming limitless, in Kwik's view, isn't about some magic trick or being born brilliant. It's about systematically taking down your limitations.
Yeah, it's about combining that right mindset, really challenging those LIEs, believing you can improve with deep motivation, finding your why, managing your energy, and then applying the effective methods we just covered, mastering focus, memory, reading, thinking.
And underlying all of it is that core message of neuroplasticity.
Absolutely. Your learning isn't fixed. Your potential isn't set in stone. Your brain is designed for growth, for change, throughout your life. But it depends on you. On your habits, your effort, your intention.
So let's make this practical right now, an immediate action step for you listening. Think about those 4 digital villains we discussed. Deluge, distraction, dementia, deduction.
Which one feels like it's hitting your productivity, your focus the hardest right now? Just pick one. Be honest with yourself.
Okay, got it. Now, commit to just one small, simple step. Remember S3. Just one tiny action you can take this week to start counteracting that specific villain.
Maybe it's scheduling just 20 or 30 minutes of actual downtime each day, phone away, to fight the deluge. Or maybe it's deciding to practice that 4-7-8 breathing just once before you tackle a demanding task to combat distraction. Or memorizing one phone number instead of relying on contacts.
Whatever it is, make it tiny, make it doable. Because remember Kwik's final point. Knowledge isn't power. It only has the potential to be power.
Action is what turns potential into actual power. So take one small step. Apply what you've learned today.